Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 8th day of May 2020. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening, and that everyone's raring to go today and to do those things that you hopefully want to do, those things that you are allowed to do as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious on the roads, whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're a cyclist, or you're operating any type of vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands. Please be extremely cautious. There are more complaints coming from persons who are using the roads, especially pedestrians. There are lots of people who are walking on the roads to exercise on Linford Pearson Highway, Crew Road, Shamrock Road, South Sound. One person had an experience in South Sound this morning with cars speeding in that area. And unfortunately, in some of these instances, there are young persons who are speeding and young persons of color as well. Not saying that it's always young people of color who are speeding, but one person has noticed that really has been the case on South Sound Road. We heard yesterday at the press briefing the Commissioner of Police speak about speeding on the roads of the Cayman Islands. And it seems as if they will be concentrating more of their resources to address that issue. I would say if you really want to catch some of them speeding, 5 o'clock in the morning, anywhere from the Pedro, Lower Valley area all the way down to Linford Pearson Highway. 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when the curfew is lifted and they're heading down. So I can tell you, based on experience, 5 o'clock in the morning is a good time to be out there and to catch those speeders as well. But people need to be extremely cautious on the roads of the Cayman Islands. Not because there's less traffic on the road as that give you any license whatsoever for you to go out there and exceed the speed limits and endanger yourself and others. Because remember in this, that sometimes the life you save may simply be your own as well. So want to really ask you to be extremely cautious. Please slow down on the roads of the Cayman Islands. You know, you thought there that before, when under normal circumstances, that there's really no need for you to rush, because wherever you're going, that place is going to still be there. It's not going to shift. It's not going to move. And the same thing applies. Now, as a matter of fact, there's less for you to do out there now, so there should be less reason for you to be speeding, rushing to go to one place as well. Also, want to really remind our listeners and our viewers of the importance of social distancing or physical distancing. Some people prefer to call it that, especially with Mother's Day coming up as well. We know that some people are living with their mothers, and some people may choose to have their mothers with them on Mother's Day. And we just really want to remember social distancing, because the older persons are more susceptible and more vulnerable, I should say, to COVID-19 as well. You also want to remember wearing masks. Continue to wear your masks as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that time, our phone lines are always open, and there's always that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. Of course, if you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can leave us a text message or send us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, I want to wish you a happy birthday, and I have some very special shout outs to give to some persons who are celebrating their birthdays today as well. And of course, if you have lost a loved one during these past few days, past few weeks, we want to again continue to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. So first of all, we want to wish the Financial Secretary, some of us refer to him as FS. That is Mr. Kenneth Jefferson, and he's celebrating a birthday today. So, Mr. Jefferson, FS, I want to wish you a happy birthday today, and I'm sure that in your capacity as Financial Secretary, you're going to be a very busy person. You are a very busy person. But we hope and we trust that you find some time to celebrate your birthday. And I'm sure that Ms. Farida will ensure that you have a very, very happy birthday today. And of course, our very own Miss Paulette Connolly, the Deputy Director at Radio Cayman. She is celebrating a birthday today as well. And we want to wish Miss P a very, very happy birthday also. And for those of you who keep asking her whether she's still at Radio Cayman, we must say yes, she's very much so still with Radio Cayman as well, but she has been working remotely, like some other staff members working remotely as well. So Miss P, again, we want to wish you a very happy birthday today, and we want to say to you, whatever you do, do it in moderation, but have a happy one. Miss P, as well as FS, Mr. Kenneth Jefferson. And if you know anyone who's celebrating a birthday today, certainly pass it on to us, and we will give them a shout out. This is going to be a very special show this morning because we have no guests in the studio. The leaders of the the members of the opposition, as well as the leader, they're going to be extremely busy today. I believe, amongst other things, they will be at the LA for, I think, the body of former MLA Miss Esther Ebanks may be laying in state today. I will try to find more information about that and share that with you as well. So what we have planned, we're going to have the open line from now until 8 o'clock if you want to call in. If not, I will give you an update on the press briefing that took place yesterday. And after the 8 o'clock news, we're going to have Dr. Steve McField and Miss Teresa Pitcairn. We're going to have them on the phone lines talking as well about various things, including, Dr. McField is in his 80s. It would be good and nice to hear from him how he's coping during this COVID-19 period. We know that Dr. McField enjoys a healthy lifestyle, and we'll ask him to share some of his secrets of staying young and healthy with us as well. And of course, Ms. Teresa will talk about various other subjects as well. I think at one point in time she may even have been involved in ideas around the drafting of pension legislation. But what I also want to talk about, because this is a conversation that we must have, it may not be the time to do so, but it has to happen at some point in time. And we need to speak about the Caribbean's response to the COVID-19 situation, the various countries, and how they have responded to it. In particular, those who have had their nationals stranded throughout the world and have lagged behind in terms of repatriating them to their countries of birth. We want to talk about the response to that, whether or not CARICOM has done enough, and we also want to talk about Caribbean countries always have, not, I shouldn't say always, but in some times of crisis, having to go with their hands out to the richer countries to get additional funds to help with their situations, and whether or not they're using the public purse for the right purposes, and if they were using them for the right and correct purposes, then they wouldn't necessarily be challenged from a financial standpoint when they are faced with difficult situations that require additional funding, because many of them simply don't have it. When are they going to get themselves out of that quagmire that they find themselves in? Many of them have been independent countries for a long period of time, and year after year, crisis after crisis, they find themselves going with their hands held out, either to lending institutions or for countries who are prepared to give them charitable donations to help themselves. They need to get themselves out of that quagmire as well. So with that, we were going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Tideman McCarrick Ebanks, 1884-1971. Mr. Ebanks, or Uncle Tidy, as many called him, was a devoted husband to his wife, Rosie Nee Scott, and father to their 9 children. He was one of the first in Northside to own a catboat, built by Dan Jervis of Cayman Brac, and a trap net. He was responsible for carrying the medical officer to Northside through the North Sound once a month. And he also transported a deceased person in the boat back to Northside. He built his own turtle trap and scenes for fishing. Uncle Tidy was the district constable. He walked the roads of Northside with his badge and baton, and no one ever challenged his authority or received favors. He also carried the mail to and from Frank Sound 3 times a week. He carried it on a mule, and one of his children would accompany him along the footpaths. He was a born-again Christian who was the pastor of Northside Church of God until his death.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
With no vaccine, with no cure, our current solution is keeping our distance and staying at home. We stay at home to keep safe, to reduce harm to others. We stay apart while out and about, space between life and death. We keep our distance 6 feet apart because 6 feet apart is better than 6 feet below. We stay at home because it takes upwards of 40 nurses, doctors, laboratory technicians, housekeepers to care for one COVID-19 patient. Diagnosis, intubation, extubation to full recovery. 40 healthcare professionals and their families at risk while taking care of one COVID-19 patient. Breathe easy. Keep your distance. Stay home. Don't risk you. Don't risk others. This is Rotary Central saying, live to breathe, breathe to live, because breathing is everything.
FIS MoneyGram is pleased to announce their Shed Road location will be reopening for money transfer services effective Monday, May the 4th. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, MoneyGram and Shed Road will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, servicing customers with A through K surnames on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and customers with L through Z surnames on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To ensure social distancing requirements, customers are required to make an appointment on their days by WhatsApp or texting 928-5130. That's 928-5130. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio. I promised you that I would provide you with information in relation to the service of Thanksgiving for the late Mrs. Leola Esteline Ebanks. And this release states that on Saturday, the 9th of May, that is tomorrow, a service of Thanksgiving will be held to commemorate the life of former member of the Legislative Assembly, Mrs. Leola Esteline Ebanks, known affectionately as Ms. Esther. The streamlined version of the standard official funeral will follow a period of lying in state at the Legislative Assembly on Friday, that is today, the 8th of May 2020. Members of the public will not be able to attend the lying in state in person due to the shelter-in-place provisions, but will be able to follow proceedings live on CIG TV as well as YouTube. Goes on to say that then the hearse carrying Mrs. Ebanks will precede the Honorable Speaker, district representatives, and family members on a final drive-through to mark her time served as representative of West Bay. Persons can listen to Radio Cayman for reference and are encouraged to stand in their doorways or yards to wave, but should be mindful of maintaining social distancing protocols. The funeral service will then be held for immediate family only at 1 p.m. at the Church of God Chapel, Georgetown on Academy Way on Saturday the 9th of May, with interment to follow at the Garden of Eden Cemetery on Pedro Castle Road. The service will be aired live on CIG TV, YouTube only. The full farewell proceedings will be available on CIG TV from next week as well. It's also pointed out that members of the public are invited to pay their respects by signing an official book of condolences, and you can do that via bordenfuneralhome.condolences.php. I will repeat that. You can sign an official book of condolence at bordenfuneralservices.com/condolences.php. So those are the details in relation to the service of Thanksgiving for the late Mrs. Leola Esterline Ebanks as well. Again, we want to thank the GIS for providing that information, and we're more than happy to pass that on to you as well. We have about 5 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news, so let's cover some things in relation to yesterday's press briefing. And I will give you some of the highlights from that briefing. 1, 74 negatives and 2 positive test results were reported yesterday. Another point was that 24-hour hard curfew for Sundays is lifted for Cayman Brac immediately, and changes to soft curfew would be gazetted, would have been gazetted. That should have taken place last night as well. Good news, fishing and boating with a maximum of 2 persons in one boat are allowed outside the 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew period in Cayman Brac. Restrictions by last name are rescinded as well. So there's no restriction in relation to last name when it comes to being out and about during the curfew period. For shopping and other things, you can go out any day of the week that you want for the sister islands. And also that police were planning stringent enforcement of regulations this weekend in all of the islands as well. And then we had some outlining of the phasing of testing that was mentioned by the CMO. One troubling point that was raised by the chief medical officer had to do with people missing the date, the schedule for testing, and we want to encourage people, if you have been selected and a date and place and time has been arranged for you to do your testing, please go and have your test done. It's important for you to know whether or not you may be infected, because that then helps in the process to ensure that you don't spread it as well. So we're urging you to please do that as well. Getting back to the sister islands, we know that there has always been talk, and I say this jokingly, that of seceding from the Union as far as Cayman Brac and Little Cayman are concerned. I will say to you, you're almost in that position now, because you can do all of the things that you would normally be able to do over there. I think bars are still not open yet. But one problem that still keeps you separate from Grand Cayman is that anyone planning on traveling to the sister islands must be quarantined 14 days in advance of travel. So you have to advise of your intent to travel. If you get approval, then you have to be quarantined before you go over there. I don't believe that they're allowing you to go and then be quarantined over there. You have to be quarantined before you go. So for all intents and purposes, other than freight and other things being able to travel between the 2 islands, the 3 islands, Cayman Brac, you've been seceded from the Union of sorts. That's just joking, just jokingly. Don't take me serious on that. But we want to really, really wish the inhabitants of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman all the best. We want to congratulate them for the sterling job that they have done in terms of following the guidelines. And we see when you follow the protocols that have been put in place by government that you can then get positive results, not positive COVID results, but positive results that result in negative COVID results as well. So we want to congratulate you for that. You still need to be extremely patient when it comes to inter-island travel, going from one island to the other. You have to be patient with that, because all of the gains that you have made during this period, you don't want to surrender them now by opening up the borders and then possible infection taking place again. We want to keep you the way that you are, and in order to do that, then these measures still have to be in place. And hopefully, if we here in Grand Cayman, if we continue to follow all of the instructions, all of the rules, we'll be in a better position ourselves to join you in the condition that you're in now as well. But that's going to take a lot. There are lots of challenges here in Grand Cayman because of a larger population as well. Folks, we've reached the top of the hour. 8 o'clock news. Remember, when we return from the 8 o'clock news, we're going to start our discussion with Dr. Steve Macfield and Miss Theresa Pitcairn. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
The tourism industry is not going to be able to recover until the world recovers around us.
Cayman is playing the long game when it comes to its tourism industry, putting in place a medium to long-term plan. As you heard during Thursday's COVID-19 press briefing right here on Radio Cayman, Tourism Minister the Honourable Moses Kirkconnell said top priorities for boosting the economy are on the financial services industry, which is the largest contributor to the country's gross domestic product, and businesses that serve the local population.
And then when we get down to the third leg of our economy that has to recover, it's the tourism part of it, which will be the last to recover.
Mr. Kirkconnell says once government is confident it has successfully controlled the spread of COVID-19, then it will turn to the country's tourism product.
We have to understand how we bring people on airplanes. We have to understand where we're going to land as far as the cruise industry itself. And we're not going to allow this to be a short-term fix. We're doing everything we can possibly do in short, leading to medium, but clearly understanding that we have a responsibility to build this country back.
A COVID-19 package of incentives will be put together as educational programs to improve skill sets and ensure Caymanians can take advantage of new opportunities when they become available. As it stands now, the port and airport are set to reopen on September 1st based on a recently passed cabinet paper, but Mr. Kirkconnell stressed there's no guarantee that the ports will open to cruise ships in the third or even fourth quarter. This comes as there are 2 more positive COVID-19 cases reported on Thursday.
Again, we're now really into this sort of extensive frontline screening program, which I think is really important for us and then allows us to isolate, trace and track contacts and prevent further spread. And all of that consistent with suppression and elimination of the virus.
His Excellency, the Governor Martin Roper, says the government appreciates the majority of those following the guidelines, and he appeals to those who are not to comply.
I know that we are asking an awful lot of you, and I am really grateful to the great majority of people who are following all our guidance correctly. But I do want to underline that I am very concerned by some of the things the police commissioner said, and would really ask the small minority that is not following the guidance to really comply with this on behalf of all of us in our community.
With new measures in place for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, Governor Roper says there's still a new normal and the rules still apply.
The social distancing, the basic hygiene, the staying at home possible still applies as we try and protect everyone in our community. But I do think we can say, we can be hopeful and have confidence that our plan to gradually ease restrictions on Grand Cayman is still on track. And over time, we'll be able to move from our current level 4 high suppression to level 3 moderate suppression, opening up much more of our local economy.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News. Europe has been marking the 75th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany in the Second World War. Events are dramatically scaled down because of the coronavirus pandemic. At a ceremony in Berlin, the German president expressed gratitude for the country's liberation from the Nazis. Britain has encouraged people to hold tea parties at home instead of the planned street parties. The World Health Organization says it could take at least a year to determine the exact origins of the coronavirus. Speaking in Geneva, a WHO expert said the evidence still pointed to the virus starting in bats before leaping to another animal, which passed it to humans. The Secretary-General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, says an all-out effort is needed to counter what he called a tsunami of hate unleashed by the pandemic. Mr. Guterres said anti-foreigner sentiment had surged. The Islamic State group has confirmed for the first time that it's engaged in heavy fighting with al-Qaeda-linked militants in Mali and Burkina Faso. In its online publication, it described members of al-Qaeda's Sahel affiliate as apostates and wild dogs. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Bring a little bit of luck to your house with Lucky Slice from America. Burgers, steak, and the all-day American breakfast. From Europe, fish and chips, pizza and crepes. And from Asia, sushi.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 7 days a week, delivery or pickup, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. In these difficult times, we can all use a little bit of luck. Keep calm and stay lucky.
Minimize contact. Make your credit card payment by phone. Pay only for food. No delivery fee. No service charge. Certain restrictions apply. Call Lucky Slice Pizza to place your delivery order now. 949-3456.
Order from Cayman Creperie, Mojo Sushi, and Lucky Slice Pizza. Call 949-3456.
It's time to stay steady in the summer and be ready for the fall. Summer 2020 classes begin on May 11th, and there has never been a more opportune time for you to invest in your future with online classes at UCCI. Do your part to keep our island safe and stay home Cayman while furthering your educational goals. Continue or start your success story today by visiting ucci.edu.ky/myucci to find out more about the enrollment process. Call 623-8224 or email info@ucci.edu.ky to learn more.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Social distancing. Well, that means you're to keep a distance of 3 to 6 feet away from the person next to you. Or in layman's term, if you can see the color of the eye next to you, you're too close. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
International Lighting, Eds Plaza, North Songway, is now open for delivery Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In addition to light fixtures, ceiling fans, rugs, sheet sets, and household items, International Lighting now has a selection of masks, alcohol, and gloves for sale. For delivery, please call 945-7121, 916-8211, 916-3553, or 949-5141.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. Mastering the art of communication can open doors for you.
As Susie Kassem wrote in her book, Rise Up and Salute the Sun, we cannot control the way people interpret our ideas or thoughts, but we can control the words and tones we choose to convey them. Peace is built on understanding, and wars are built on misunderstandings. Never underestimate the power of a single word, and never recklessly throw around words. One wrong word or misinterpreted word can change the meaning of an entire sentence and start a war. And one right word or one kind word can grant you the heavens and open doors.
Change your thinking, change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. On Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. Barometric pressure 29.95 inches and rising. The wind is east at 10 knots. Overnight low temperature was 81 degrees. Synopsis indicate light to moderate winds and slight seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours, in association with a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. Additionally, a weakening cold front north of the area will just stay north of our area for the next 24 hours, but may help support some showers and possible thunder activity within the area. Radar images show showers in and around the Cayman Islands moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, becoming east to southeast by this afternoon. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. And the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers and possible thunder. Temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 9:40, low tide this afternoon at 11 minutes past 4, and a high tide again tonight at 5 minutes past 11. The sun will set this evening at 6:49 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:53. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning as the cold front dissipates over Cuba.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
And once again, that familiar theme tells us it's time to take a look at what's happening on our roads. Traffic flowing pretty good coming from the east on Shamrock Road and also on the Linford-Pearson Highway. Traffic is light coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, and no issues on Godfrey Nixon Way. It's flowing pretty good, as well as on Eastern Avenue. Edward Street, light to moderate traffic flow, and on Cool Road, steady but flowing traffic, and traffic moderate coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, and looking towards the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, moderate flow of traffic in both directions, and in and out of Georgetown on Shedden Road looking pretty good as traffic flowing nicely. Now, if you see any accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. And remember, take heed, reduce your speed.
Subway is helping to keep Cayman safe by limiting store openings and hours, offering curbside pickup and delivery right to your door. With 3 locations currently open to serve you: Anderson Square in Georgetown, Centennial Towers in West Bay, and Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah. Subway is open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on soft curfew days. Free delivery for orders with a minimum $20 purchase. Delivery times only from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Subway, helping you to enjoy your favorite foods in the safest way possible.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman, with hand sanitizer from $3.25, 10 surgical masks for $9.99, and 2 packs of KN95 masks for $6.99. Wholesale pricing available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations: Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the incredible lockdown price markdown and manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Hundreds of fine starting from cases of ice cold below wholesale prices, and save $9 off liters. Prices so low we can't say it on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks and social distancing while in store, and encourage other preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
During these challenging times, it can be easy to lose sight of all that we have to be grateful for. As the world grapples with the effects of COVID-19, at the forefront of the fight are the many frontline workers diligently ensuring the continuity of our islands. From the police service, members of the National Emergency Operations Center, healthcare workers, the DEH, grocery and pharmacy attendants, and so many more. Along with the daily conch call at 6:59 p.m., Radio Cayman invites the community to call in to talk today, every Friday, for Frontline Fridays. Share your stories and experiences, and let us as a community start the gratitude trend to the many people putting their lives on the front line. Whether you have a family member on the front line and wish to give them a shout out, or if you have a personal experience of Cayman kindness, we want to hear from you. Frontline Fridays, every Friday on Talk Today.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Essential staff, police officers, immigration, customs, doctors, nurses, first responders, they are essential staff. So if you got to ask, then you ain't. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information: the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Cayman kind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we have Dr. Steve Macfield and Ms. Teresa Pitcairn on the phone lines with us. Doc, Ms. Teresa, good morning. Welcome to For the Record, and I hope and I trust that you and your families are all doing well.
Yeah, good morning to Mr. For the Record, and good morning to Ms. Teresa Pitcairn, and good morning to all the listeners locally and those in the diaspora, and all of those who are in For the Record land. Yes, we're fine. We're okay. We're inside. Of course, you know, I am abiding by the government's regulations. Because I think that safety is indeed the correct course to take. Because there is no cure to this deadly virus. and so therefore I am abiding by the government's course. I think the course that they have taken so far, the safety course, is indeed the correct one, and I am. Although it's a hard choice to take, but it's my life. And as you have said so many times on your program, even this morning, the life that you say may be your own. And I am sticking to what the government tells me to do, because that's a law-abiding citizens. I have to abide by my government, what they want to do. I don't always agree with them, but I have to abide by what the law is as of this time.
And Doc, being one of those who find themselves in that more vulnerable group, from a personal standpoint, can you tell us, what you're doing, how you're coping in terms of being at home, not being able to be in the office, or even, for instance, not being in the studio with me and being on the phone as opposed to being in the studio? How are you coping, and what personal steps are you taking?
Well, it's hard because it reminds me of what total relaxation would be like. I couldn't take this for long because I'm a workaholic. I like to be doing things, and I don't want to be sitting around, because at my age, to be sitting around, you get old real fast. So I am still keeping to my diet. I am still keeping to my diet. I'm still doing my exercises. Nothing has changed as far as that is concerned. The only thing has changed is I'm not able to go to my office, and I'm not able to see people. I go out once every fortnight to the grocery store to get my groceries, and I come back, and I don't go back again. I don't go back again. I go to the pharmacy to pick up my eye drops, because I take drops for my eyes, and when they run out, I go. But I only go for half an hour, and I'm right back in, because as you have seen, this virus has brought out the worst in us, some of the worst in some of the people, and what it has done is that it has exposed the unwashed underbelly of some Caymanian people, their recklessness and their reluctance to obey by the law, even on the road. People on the road now that they don't have to worry about, they're still speeding and killing and trying to kill people on the road. And I'm wary of that, because I know that from my education, the things I've learned in the universities and through life, that pandemics and crisis brings out the worst in people, and God forbid if we ever have a hurricane between June and September this year, what will happen to us with this pandemic, keeping us inside and not being able to get to work and being able to do things that we usually do.
Okay. Miss T, we know you're in that younger generation, so your approach may be different. I know, for instance, this morning you were out there, walking as well. How are you and your family doing?
First of all, thanks very much for the opportunity to have this chat with you, Dr. Steve, or wider communities, or as Leslie Jordan talks about, the Humper Downers. That guy, he cracks me up. But as you noted, I was out, doing my usual walk in the morning to clear my thoughts. But my 3 kids, and I know I have to caution using that word kids, because as a mom, I'm now consultant in chief, and only when they deem it necessary. So I have to keep my thoughts to myself. And the 2 terms or 2 things that I don't so like hearing anymore is, I'm hungry, what's for dinner? So, we're now having to adjust to a mother that doesn't necessarily care too much for hearing those types of demands.
So are you spending more time in the kitchen now as a result of them being there?
At my level of maturity, OC, and I don't like cooking, right? My mother was a great cook, and, she spoiled the kids and so on. But I know time is of the essence, and I'd like to just jump right in. And
Sure.
So let me also say right from the outstart that I'm really, really, really pleased with the job that the Premier has done thus far. In fact, the term, I'll then say so, I think it's apt, and it says it says exactly how this community feels at this moment in time with his leadership. But, for me, in as much as, and he's gotten it right with respect to balancing human life and balancing the engine that drives our economy. But at this particular point in time where I've been sitting down, and just observing a lot of things, I think that there's probably a dwindling support for the idea of prolonged lockdown. And I'm happy that our premier, for example, has managed to balance that need between keeping us in line and encouraging us to be disciplined citizens and, the idea of tailoring the economy and tailoring the kind of policies that he and his government has to meeting our needs. But I think, when I listened the other day that Little Cayman is now released from lockdown, which is good, but that's after a 94% population having been tested. And if this is the standard for Grand Cayman, we're in for a long, long, long wait, because you can't really go 14 days without a positive result to remove the lockdown. I'm not sure I agree with that policy at all, because containing the virus is one thing, but we need to ramp up our testing and organizing the monitoring. And with that, I'd just like to segue into issues that I have personally observed in our community and listening to the things that people say, especially on the chats that you have. Mm-hmm. People have a lot of pride and they want to work and sort out their own problems. We're all grateful for the work that charity is doing, and I do my share. And we're grateful for the sentiment that government is generous and people have a roof over their head and food to eat. But not everybody wants to get down or sit down, and I allude also to what Steve was saying just now. Not everybody wants to sit down and wait for one hot meal per day from charity. People want to be independent, and that Caymanian pride that I keep going back to. The worry that I have, OC, is in perpetuating this idea, which we have done historically in our politics, which ties the Caymanian hands to patronage. That's what's being generated and encouraged, notwithstanding that we have specific reasons why we're doing that at this particular point in time. Mm-hmm. I've said to a number of people who will listen to my rants when I have them every now and again, why can't we, for example, the way in which we're generating a policy that deals with Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, why can't we do that, for example, to East End and North Side too, as two small communities, and try to clear those communities through proper testing, whatever policy and guidelines that you need to make sure that those people, for example, can start to do what they need to do to take care of themselves, because NAU can't continue ad nauseum to feed everybody. We don't even know, and I've asked certain persons about our state of affairs with our accounts, minus creative accounting. I want to know what our debt situation will be a month from now, 2 months from now to year end, because this pandemic is not necessarily going to ease up without certain ramifications. People not going to just sit down and be hungry all the time and not want to feed their families. So I just like to throw those thoughts out there right from the get-go, to inform people where I'm sitting at this particular point in time.
But Ms. T, wouldn't it present a problem for those districts? And I understand, yes, it could have them tested so they know what the position is with them, but you would almost have to close them off in terms of travel in and out for it to be 100% effective?
Not at all, because you can still have people running around in Georgetown as we are doing, Georgetown and the rest of the community as we're doing now.
Okay.
Yeah, so give them an opportunity to think about what they need to do to make, the other thing that I'm thinking about as you speak, we are going to have to produce or develop some kind of food bank at the end of the day. And I'm also thinking of how we're going to develop entrepreneurship within the community, using this time that we now have on our hands to do that. The same people that we have asked historically to tidy the roads 1, 2, 3 times a year when we're trying to address unemployment, there is no reason why we can't try to find out who these persons are and put in place certain entrepreneurial opportunities for people. I mean, we now see how important it is to disinfect the community. So there's no reason why we can't develop, little communities or little businesses that will encourage certain of the unemployment population that are so inclined to have their own business. You put in common sense guidelines and policies and have them develop the entrepreneurial skill. And that's just one example, that we see is clearly obvious.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. P, for that. Ms. T, sorry. Don't hang up. We're keeping you on the line. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Dr. Steve Macfield and Ms. Teresa Pitcairn. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Has being quarantined at home have you looking at your living space differently? Well, Tomlinson Furniture is now offering free island-wide deliveries and phone consultations to help you design a comfortable living space. For inspiration and ideas, browse the Tomlinson Furniture and Mattress Gallery Facebook page, Tomlinson Furniture Cayman on Instagram, or website at tomlinsonfurniture.ky. Open from 9:30 a.m. for phone consultations and orders. Call 949-5383. Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Free delivery island-wide.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Shelter in place. Stay home. Stay out of Johnny Public. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have Dr. Steve Macfield and Ms. Teresa Pitcairn on the line. I just want to let our listeners know that we will be opening up the phone lines later on for you to participate in conversations as well in terms of things that you may want to point out, questions that you may have also. And we will probably do that after the headline news at 9 o'clock. And then we will have the open line for an hour until 10 o'clock. We've also been asked to give a big shout out this morning to Mr. Dennis Smith in the BRAC, and that's coming from his daughter Teresa and the rest of the family as well. That is Mr. Dennis Smith in Cayman Brac. Also, birthday greetings are going out to Miss Elaine Richardson, and they're coming from Mrs. Amy Gold, your mother, and the rest of the family as well. So happy birthday to Miss Elaine Richardson. And if you know more, send them in to, call them in to Miss Susan, and we will give them a shout out this morning. This is a feel good Friday, for you. We want everyone to really feel positive, feel good. And when you do call in, we want you to talk about your experiences and how you're coping with the challenges of COVID-19 as well. I'm going to go back to Dr. Steve McField now as well, and I'm going to ask you a question in relation to, we know that your wife is, you've told us, on air before that your wife is from Russia. We know that to a certain extent, Russia is a closed society when it comes to information coming out of there. And has she been able to glean any information coming out of Russia? We see that the numbers are starting to spike there as well. But just like many totalitarian countries, we know that they have a tendency to suppress information, and there are people who suspect that the numbers may have been compressed quite a bit from the beginning. Has she been hearing anything from over in Russia, Doc?
No, she's not been. She's not heard much about the effect of the coronavirus in Russia. She's been in touch with her family and her friends over there. Through her private media.
Okay.
But she's not heard much. She's not heard much about that. And of course, she's not been concentrated much about that over there.
Yeah.
Because fortunately for me, my wife is totally Caymanian. Although she might have been born someplace else, she's totally Caymanian, and her whole interest is here, and with me and our families. And but she's in contact daily with her families, and as to how they're coping and how they're eating and getting along. Those private matters, but she's not.
Okay, and in her where her family is from, have they seen what's the result of the COVID-19 situation there? Are they having challenges there with it? Numbers?
Yeah, they're having the same challenges that we're having. And of course, that's a socialist society, and the ability to obtain certain things that they will need is more crucial than we are. We are very fortunate to be able to have supermarkets full with shelves full and things like that, all the things that we need, all the things that we have had, and all the things that we need. But they have not been that fortunate, even in the absence of the coronavirus, they have not been able to have all of those things.
Okay. Now, for both of you, and Ms. T, you can chime in here as well. We have seen varied responses to the COVID-19 situation. No country was really prepared for it, in a sense. But at the same time, because of the state of their economies, some countries have been able to respond in a more robust way than others. Let's talk a little bit about the Caribbean. Let's talk a little bit about CARICOM and the response. Here in the Cayman Islands, so far we have seen, a very positive, aggressive response that the government has taken to it. And we have been fortunate. To the point where our financial situation at this point in time has been able to sustain us. Now, this could go on for a long time, and our conditions may change, but we have been much more fortunate than many other countries simply because of the structures that we have in place, the legislation that we have in place, despite what some people may think, helps to hold our political leaders accountable and helps to ensure that the purse strings are managed properly. Can I get some comments from you all on that?
But that's not particularly because of the COVID virus. Remember now, there are so many people here who come, and there are so many people on the outside who really don't know about our. They have not seen how we have coped in the darkest times in our history.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some dark times in our history, and we have learned how to fight and to keep food and bread on the table and to keep our families together. Remember now, we were the place that time forgot. The other islands never remembered us, and the other countries never remembered us. We've had to go through all of those hurricanes and all of those times when we were hungry, we had no place to work until National Ball came, until the wars came, until the Panama Canal came, and all that kind of stuff. So we have this unstoppable energy, and thank God that some of the members of our government has this experience too, and they understand what we have to do. And I'm speaking of just one country. I don't know much about the other CARICOM countries, but to me, I just can't understand why is it that Jamaica refused to take its national.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that they do not want to pay to contain their nationals in their own border. I have never seen a country yet who refused to take their nationals from another country. That tells me a lot about how they think. And one of the reasons I believe they think that the way they do is because they think we have a lot of money in Cayman and that we can carry the economic burden for their nationals, and they don't want to take them. And that is you know. But they try to do that with their nationals from the United States when they had all these deportees, and of course they look up to America as the acme of the economic on the economic scale. And Trump just say, well, if you don't take them, I'm not going to give you any more visas. And quickly they change their minds,
Mm-hmm.
and they allow them to come in. If we did the same thing too, maybe they would do that. Maybe they would pick to take their nationals, but they need to take their nationals home and to carry the economic burden of feeding them and clothing them and giving them shelter in this time of crisis. That tells you what they think about us, and especially us. And so I don't have any great respect for that kind of behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but it shows you how they use the Cayman Islands and how they expect that we, with all this money that we say that we have floating around, that we are going to take care of them.
Okay, Miss T. We know that you've been involved, being involved with FIFA and everything else, that you traveled throughout the Caribbean, as well.
Yeah, so I haven't really been following a lot of what's been going on in the Caribbean other than following Mia Motley, because I am so impressed at her leadership
Mm-hmm.
in Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
I hunger for that kind of leadership, I have to say. So, I've been really watching her and seeing the way that she has actually stepped outside of the box, reached out to Ms. Amanpour, and have been having conversations about the history as to why the Caribbean remains in the economic state that it is in today. And, she showcased everything. She was, she didn't cover anything up. She didn't sugarcase this whole thing at all. And she's asking the real question, we're all in this together, or at least that's what folks say. But I mean, when you come right down to realities in communities, including ours, where you really are reliant on a service-based industry, you really need other things to get that going as well, and you need global cooperation. That aside, I agree with what Steve has said in that COVID has unveiled the ugliness in our own community. So it kind of sets the stage for us to reset our economy. You notice when I'm on the show with you or any other show, I don't get into the business of flagging off our leadership and so on, because I think it's unhelpful for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as an aside, I have to say I enjoy what Andrew Cuomo is doing. I just love the guy in that he really don't care what's going on around him with the craziness. He just gets the job done in terms of what he thinks New York needs, and he will reach out and cooperate. That's the kind of leadership I enjoy seeing. You know, he knows he don't have a monopoly on knowledge.
But yet at the same time, we have Caribbean countries now that have had their independence from the 1960s, right? And they still have not been able to rise up to the challenge when they are faced with the challenges that they're faced with. Now, yes, the colonial legacy is there and everything else, but you would have thought that by now some of them would have been able to get everything in order, get everything sorted out, and to be able to handle challenges. But the moral and political corruption that still exists in some of these countries has to be the primary blame for the condition and the position that they find themselves in today.
Of course, but but let me put a stop right there, you know. When you speak of those others, please let's start at home with the political corruption as well. It's not quite the way it is visioned globally, but let us not run from that it exists here as well. That is an aside. The way in which our thinking as leaders has evolved, and it's one of the issues I wanted to raise this morning, has to reflect the way the communities that they lead currently look like. You can't have incompetence, for one thing, as leadership. You can't also have leadership that only thinks that only some people ought to succeed. And you can't have leadership that ignores the state of play in their own country. In our community, for the last 30 to 50 years, as I see it, we have had one way of thinking, and that's money, 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 money. Now, I've also said on a number of these shows that in our community, we have done well in structuring our economy, and kudos to leadership with time. But we've also ignored the state of the social community, the social aspect. We've let that lag, and now COVID is throwing that up close and personal in our faces. That is something that we need to think about. So, and I use immigration, for example, as an example to reflect what I'm thinking at this moment in time. Our laws are designed to encourage wealthy people to come here, no matter what level of integrity they have or do not have. Our immigration, for example, is not designed to accommodate folks like nurses or teachers who don't make the kind of income that allows them to get Caymanian status, for example. And those are some of the people I believe, based on their performance, ought to be able to fly through our system. Because
I would disagree with you there, because if you look at the majority, the many people who maybe not in this date and time, but prior to that, you look at all of those persons who came here as teachers, came here as nurses, some came here as doctors, and they remain here up until today. So we did have a society that allowed for that. But I have to take a commercial break now, but stay right there. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on ensuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Grapetree Cafe is happy to announce that they will be reopening on Thursday, May 7th for takeout only. Your delicious fish will be available for takeout from Thursday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Call or WhatsApp to place your order 324-5860. That's 324-5860. The management and staff of Grapetree Cafe in Bordentown would like to encourage everyone to practice social distancing and to stay home and stay safe.
Imagine you had a bag of candy and someone told you that one piece was poisoned. Now, would you risk eating any of them? More importantly, would you ever give those to your kids? Probably not. You would even make sure that nobody else could get them either. That poisoned candy is much like COVID-19. Don't risk being poisoned. Stay home. Tell others to do the same. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay home. Leave Granny alone. Darling child, I mean, we can't be visiting our old people because they're more compromised. We gotta keep them safe. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with, not in the studio with me, but on the phone lines, we have Dr. Steve McField, Ms. Teresa Pitcairn. One of our listeners has written in and said, I love Dr. McField's sentiments on the Jamaican government. He's absolutely 100% correct. And at the same time, one of our listeners has written in, Ms. T, and this I'll give you an opportunity to respond to this. It says here, Ms. Theresa's question, government debt is now around $278 million and government continues, that is the Cayman Islands government, continues to make its debt repayments according to its debt repayment schedule. Government has not made any public pronouncements about future borrowings. This is a decision that government will carefully make, balancing the need to help the Cayman Islands citizens and residents and its need to be financially responsible. So they just wanted to put that on as well. But my comments in relation to as far as permanent residency is concerned, that those persons who came here as professionals, teachers, nurses, doctors, they have always been the ones that are in the forefront of residency, despite the fact that we do also offer residency to the rich and famous.
Yeah, so that has not necessarily been my experience, and we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Okay, sure.
I know when we've been drafting the immigration law, we've always been cognizant to the fact that we don't have any kind of social security net to secure the interests of persons who don't make don't have a certain earning capacity. And I remember even having this conversation with Oswald Rankin centuries ago about the importance of ensuring that when we have our teachers and nurses in particular come over, they ought to enjoy a special category. And I say that because I now think that our immigration system actually reflects some type of class system where it's generated and structured to accommodate certain interests and not others. And I'm not saying that that's not right or wrong. I'm saying that we need to talk about balance, especially now that Corona has unveiled all of our epidemics. Going on to the question of the accounts, I raised that comment in the context of the fact that our airport is closed tourism is going to have to rethink and regroup
Mm-hmm.
the level of unemployment that we are likely to see given the circumstances that we now enjoy. And I say enjoy because things could be really worse. And again, I've got to give kudos to Alden. He has done fairly well under these circumstances with his flexibility, with his willing to hear other points of view. So it's not about that. And I don't know how long we're going to be able to maintain this state of affairs. I don't need those numbers. I want to see the entire account for me so that I can make an informed decision as a member of this public.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a position? Do either of you have a position in relation to the not only the pensions holiday, but the ability for people to withdraw, from their pensions? We have about 6 minutes to go, so I want to give both of you an opportunity to respond to that one. Doc?
I'm not going to. Pension is an issue I'm going to avoid on this call, and here are the reasons why.
Okay.
I was asked to draft the pensions law in 2013.
I remember you shared that with me, yes.
That's right. And all of these issues are not novel. So here we are in 2020 having a run on pensions, and I don't think it answers the real and fundamental concerns that we have.
Mm-hmm. Doc?
That's all I'll say.
Well, I agree with the government. Listen, just for the record, in times of crisis like these, there are honorable compromises and there are dishonorable compromises. I think that what the government has done with the pension is an honorable compromise because people really need help immediately, and the only place that they could find help was to the people's pension. And as far as I'm concerned, the whole structure, and I agree with the Premier, and I agree with Sanders when he says that from the beginning the pension scheme was a farce.
Yeah, wasn't fit for purpose.
Yes, and I think that allowing them to draw their pension and to get through this crisis and to start all over with a perfect national pension plan, I agree with that. I know that if we do not have sound minds and stewardship in this to fare us through this crisis, that the pension money will not be enough for the people, because in 6 months, 8 months, those who have not sent their money off the island, and those who have not sent the money off the island would be in the same position they're in now. They can't pay their bills, can't pay their mortgages, can't pay their live up to their financial obligations. We're going to be back in the same position. But as far as I'm concerned, like I said, there are honorable compromises and there are dishonorable compromises in a time of crisis. And I think that they're allowing the people to take their pensions and to get through this crisis financially is an honorable compromise. And I agree with that.
Okay. Now, as far as pensions are concerned, the argument is that it is the purpose for it is when you reach the retirement age for you to have some financial assistance, but you have to reach the retirement age to get it. So some people's argument is by allowing them to dip into it now, it's allowing them to get to that point, because if they are not able to dip into it, they may not survive.
Well, that's what I say. This is an honorable compromise. Mm-hmm. Because what's the alternative? What's the alternative then?
Yeah.
The government. The alternative is more bread and soup line in front of the churches and stuff and things like that. Is that the alternative?
Mm-hmm. And any views in relation to what the government has done as far as work permit holders are concerned, and that one-off $150 to assist them to purchase food, and what the government is doing now in terms of looking for ways and means to get those persons off the island who are now unemployed, to get them back to their countries of origin if possible?
That should have been a priority and should be a priority. I understand that some of those countries have shut their borders and are not allowing their people to come in, and that's unfortunate. I don't disagree with the $150 because you do not want people here already. And I'm not saying that it's the work permit holders, because already you hear the commissioner of police is saying that the spike of burglaries and stuff and that is because that is what crisis brings out in the people. It brings out the worst in people. And like as Haig Barton said and so many times on the platform, politics is through the stomach. When people get hungry, they need to eat and they need a place to sleep. They don't really need a place clothes to wear, because they can wear the same suit, they can wash it overnight and put on tomorrow morning. But they need a place to sleep and eat. Okay. And they don't want to be in that position.
I'm going to break a promise. We said we were going to open the lines at 9 o'clock, but I'm going to ask you all to stay on until about 9:15. We're going to do headline news, because I want to give both of you an opportunity for final comments and to reflect on anything that you may want to in relation to the COVID-19 situation here in the Cayman Islands as well as throughout the world. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after headline news.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Later this morning, a streamlined version of the standard official funeral for former member of the Legislative Assembly, Mrs. Leola Esterline Ebanks, will follow a period of lying in state at the Legislative Assembly. Members of the public will not be able to attend due to the shelter-in-place provisions, but you can watch the proceedings live on CID-TV or on their YouTube channel. You can also pay your respects by signing an official book of condolence via BadenFuneralServices.com. The U.S. unemployment rate has risen to 14.7%, with 20.5 million jobs lost in April as the coronavirus pandemic devastates the economy. The rise means jobless rates is now worse than at any time since the Great Depression in the 30s. Since the pandemic began, the U.S. has suffered its worst growth numbers in a decade and its worst retail sales report on record. And Berliners have been given an unprecedented public holiday to mark the end of World War II in Europe, but also liberation from Nazi rule. Not since reunification has a German city acknowledged May 8th as a day of liberation in this way. Some Berliners are unaware of its significance. A street party and several events have been canceled because of the coronavirus pandemic. The holiday is one-off and will not be held outside Berlin. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have on the phone line with us Dr. Steve Macfield, Miss Teresa Pitcairn. Before I go back to them, want to give a big shout out and a happy birthday to Miss Leanna Tibbetts, who's working at the National Emergency Operations Center, NEOC, and she's celebrating her birthday today, so we want to wish her a happy birthday and tell her not to work too hard today, since it's her very special day as well. Back to the phone lines with Dr. Steve Macfield and Ms. Teresa Pitcairn. Back to our local situation, we see where the R3 group is going to be the group managing the funds that have been donated by the private sector. DART Group has put in an initial amount of money, and they have pledged to match up to $4 million, the amount to help with the recovery in the Cayman Islands. So we see the private sector doing their part. So, Ms. T, what I'm going to do, we're going to have about 12 minutes before we go to the commercial break. Give you an opportunity to respond to that. Have you make some closing comments as well, and then we'll switch over to Dr. Macfield.
Yeah, I'll probably leave Steve to answer that one, but as far as I'm concerned, it's Mr. Dart's money, and they choose who they want to populate their board. They choose how the money ought to be distributed. that is it for me in a nutshell. But what I wanted to talk a little bit about as well was the whole idea of creating consumer demand and job creation. The fact that I always go to Cayman Brac for Easters and have been doing that for centuries now, I want to know how, for example, if the people in Cayman Brac and certainly those in Little Cayman feel so, whether or not we can develop those communities as staycations for us, because that's one way of driving our economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I'm about to say will probably cause a lot of belly aching for some people, but let us try to reset the economy so that we can develop employment opportunities. For example, in the BRAC, the work that we tend to send out in the private sector for administrators and secretaries, why can't we do that by developing a community in Cayman Brac, for example, or even at home, where we can have these skills here and at a reasonable cost, and those jobs don't have to be parched out. The other thing that I was also thinking about is developing IT jobs, because you don't need a 4-year degree to be qualified. We can invest in cybersecurity. We can talk about developing ideas for jobs, green jobs, for example. You'll see how Mother Nature is kind of like settling down. Every time I go out there in the mornings for a walk, I'm really, really enthralled by the level of the beauty. So, those are the sort of practical things I'm thinking about to try and restart it. And like I said, we're going to need a food station at some point. Caymanians have a lot of pride. They're not going to go out there and tell people that they're hurting and they're hungry. But you don't want to continue the kind of welfare mentality that administration after administration has encouraged. And one final point, Ezard, as we know, has health expertise. And I'm still not sure why I'm not seeing him, out there with developing and talking about some of the issues that he thinks showcased by this government, because we need people with those skills. And so when we say we get past politics and all of that, and it's not about that, an example like that in my mind would demonstrate that, this is not about what, how things look, but it's about what's in the best interest of our country. And I'd like to just share that and throw that out there.
Okay, one more question for you before we go. We've seen a number of work permit holders leave the jurisdiction. There are some who are still here. There are probably some who are flying below the radar and may be here illegally, and there's no incentive whatsoever for them to leave. Others would have left simply because of the financial burdens that they may have. Do we have, and there was an amnesty also that was extended by the government. Will we need to recalibrate when we start to open back up? And if we see that the work permit holders are the ones who are now in employment, and we still have a significant number of Caymanians unemployed, what should the strategy be then, as far as employment and work permits are concerned?
Yeah, well, it will be just the same as always, because we tend to put those folks.
No, I'm asking you what should the strategy be now, though? Your suggestion in terms of what the strategy.
We now have a guy that's in charge of work, and I'd be interested to hear what his views are.
You're passing the buck on that one, Ms. T. I got to get you to commit to something.
Okay. That's me on that one. Yeah.
Okay, Doc, you heard all of the questions. Your comments?
Well, first you talk about the money that in private funds. I think that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, talk about the R3 group. My comment on one of my shows was that we didn't see, in terms of all of the representatives there, and I'm recognizing that is private money that is being donated. But I believe that you need to have, someone who's going to be on the receiving end of that, if it is intended to put some of it into the poorer communities, that maybe someone, representative should be on that board. They could have something to offer in that regard.
I agree with that, but that's the way it has been, and this coronavirus is not going to change that mindset. That's not going to change that. Although there's enough money here in the country to bring the country back together, that's not going to happen. Let me just let me address something about the coronavirus thing.
Okay.
A lot of the politicians and a lot of the businessmen and the Chamber of Commerce and all those talking about going back to normal. But let me tell you what my thought on going back to normal means. And I've written it down because when you say that, I have some closing remarks.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to normal means banks foreclosing on homes because people will not be able to pay their mortgages in this unequal economic system. Going back to normal means more work permits and more Caymanians unemployment. Going back to normal means millions and millionaires and beachland owners blocking us from getting to our beaches. And going back to normal means electing some individuals who are not qualified to regulate a modern democracy. And going back to normal means more prison rooms, mental wards, and no technical tools to alleviate us out of this poverty. Going back to normal means more policemen, but not more journeymen. Going back to normal means more for those who already have enough and not enough for those who need more just to survive. It means if that is the going back to normal that they talk about, that's what it means. Here are some solutions that I would like to see.
Yeah, let's hear about the new normal.
The government needs to go back to the financial drawing board and pursue a different budget. They need to scuttle all of those grandiose spending schemes that they had on the drawing board. They need to put through reforms to offer relief from rent, and they also need to put through reforms to protect the landlords from unscrupulous people who rent from them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to bring in a consumer credit law to reform mortgages and to give protection to the mortgagors and the mortgagees. They need to cease and desist from veneering the rich and powerful and to help the poor Caymanians from further economic ruin. That is what some of the things they need to do. I didn't have the chance to write down some of the other things that I need to do, but we need to get back to the system that we started here, where we are our brother's keeper. Remember now, as I said before, and when we were talking about the Caribbean countries, we were different from them. We did not take on the colonial cloak and walk around with Sir this and Sir that and so something and our society kept the same. Their society kept the same as it was colonially. We went out in the world and to find work, to find employment, to be able to feed our country, feed our people, to develop our country, and that's the difference that we have from them. And so that's what we need to do. We need to bring all of those principles that our forefathers told us how to survive. We need to bring them in, and we need to have collective responsibility in doing all this.
Mm-hmm. Miss T, you still there?
Yeah, but you see, what Steve has summarized is what I said at the very beginning: a change in the mindset,
mm-hmm.
a shift in our thinking. And I mean, I started on the immigration law and talked about a little about the way in which that reflected how we see ourselves, or how our leadership see ourselves as a community where you have a handful of people being wealthy and ignoring the more vulnerable in our community. I don't see any difference between any of our politicians in terms of an ideological bent that is shifted and geared towards social change. Because without that, we ain't going no place.
Mm-hmm.
It will be back to business as normal, as Steve just identified.
Another point I would just like to make before I go. We have started now because the imbalance of so many people we brought in, and in the face of not qualifying our own people, we can utilize our own bank. We have the CDB, the Cayman Development Bank. We need to put direct purpose grants into that bank so that to achieve the process and the progress that I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That would be much simpler than the idiotic voodoo plan that has now been proposed by some politicians. For example, $200,000+ million to build up birthing would go a long way to assist needy business fund, needy local business facing heavy losses and extinction. that would cover payroll so that they can keep workers on payroll and keep benefits going to, I would say, through the next 2 years. Because according to the politicians, they say that this problem is, they don't know how long it's going to last because it depends on how long the other part of the world recovers.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to utilize our own resources. We need to do that. And we need to start believing in ourselves and instead of believing in other people. And we need to take the hard line. And what you say about the work permit holder, we need to put that in abeyance right now, and we need to go through that, and we need to revise that, and we need to say to those people, if this is what you're doing to the Caymanian people, you are not going to continue doing business here.
Okay, we've been joined by the illustrious Mr. Roy Borden.
Yes.
Mr. Borden, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. Moderator, good morning. I am happy that you have such a distinguished audience along with yourself this morning because, indeed, we have much food for thought. I called specifically about, I don't know if you're familiar with the lead story in today's Cayman Compass.
Yes.
I kind of got a hint that is what, because I know you are always in the forefront, that may be what you all were talking about. That, Mr. Moderator, is sobering, and I don't know how we can afford that, because I always go back to the old adage, charity begins at home.
Mm-hmm.
And in our case, you can't give out what you didn't take in. I think with all due respect to these people, they should have been paid properly. They have access to their pension funds. I don't see how public coffers can afford any more charity than what we are already given.
Yes.
I agree. And the doc raised a good point. Now is the time. This is an inflection point for us. We should take a pause and reset the compass, because we have all these young people who we are sending away. Some of them are on the cusp of qualifying. We need to find places for them. So with no bad feeling and no uncharitableness, but we have to look for our own people now. And remember, if we take care of the young generation will take care of us, because it is them and their contributions that's going to keep the treasury going so that this society can maintain the standard. Expatriates can always leave at any point in their work permit tenure. They can always leave and never choose to return. But we have to begin now to look about our own people. It's high time. I thank you, and I thank your panel, and look forward to a great and enlightening discussion as usual. I said when I saw the lead story, I said, this is crafted for my friend, the illustrious Orrett Connor, because I know he will have his piece on this, and it will be a wise piece indeed. So I will listen.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. McPhail, Ms. Teresa, I want to thank you all also. Thank you very much for such short notice and for such a lively and informative discussion as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly. We will open up the phone lines now for you to have your say as well. So please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality healthcare. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore. Shopping online and picking up your purchases are now available at A.L. Thompson's. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts, and then can drive in and pick up your purchases. We hope that you will enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay at home. Stay home. No gadabout. Stay your backside home. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Cayman kind.
International Lighting, Eds Plaza, North Songway, is now open for delivery Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In addition to light fixtures, ceiling fans, rugs, sheet sets, and household items, International Lighting now has a selection of masks, alcohol, and gloves for sale. For delivery, please call 945-7121, 916-8211, 916-3553, or 949-5141.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're back to the open line. I want to again thank Dr. Steve McField, Ms. Teresa, and Dr. Roy Borden for calling in as well. Earlier, I gave you information in relation to the service of Thanksgiving for Mrs. Leola Esterly Ebanks, the late Leola Esterline Ebanks. And part of that release pointed out that the hearse carrying Mrs. Ebanks will precede the Honorable Speaker, district representatives, and family members on a final drive-through to mark her time served as a representative of West Bay. And I want to point out to you, give you the route for that. It says on leaving the Legislative Assembly building, there will be a final farewell drive to West Bay through Northwest Point, around Bosun Bay, Goat Yard, through Hell Road, along to the Town Hall, then Stadium Drive, up Birch Tree Hill Road, up to Spanish Bay Road, through Captain Reginald Parsons Drive, Mount Pleasant Road to Willafarrington Road, back up West Bay, back to Georgetown. So that's the route that it will take as well. Let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Osi. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm trying to keep safe. Are you keeping safe? You sound so.
Yeah.
Osi, as you know, we opened some businesses this week here in the island, and majority of it is online shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few of my Caymanians call and say that they're not even calling to work. They're bringing in the work permit holders to do the work.
Yeah, we're hearing that, yeah.
And one alone is got on work permit holders in there and telling the Caymanian that they have to wait and get the exempt letter from the government. How can do you have to get individual letters, or one letter covers everybody at one location?
You mean
I'm asking a question.
for
Say
the
for
person to
example-
be able to go into work?
Yes, say for example, right? I own Burger King,
Uh-huh.
and I got 10 staff,
Mm-hmm.
and I got exempt to bring in staff to work, but I'm only bringing in who I want to bring in, and telling the other part, the rest, that I can't bring you in yet because I haven't got exempt, that I could bring you in yet. Is that so?
They have to
Is that how
put
it works?
you have to, once the business has been allowed to open, then they provide each employee with a copy of that letter, as well as a letter saying that based on what I'm seeing and my understanding, it is the employer who chooses the employees who will work.
And leaving the Caymanians out, and they're not on NAU, I know that for a fact.
Well, this is a time where I think that pressure has to be put on the powers that be, that this does not occur under these circumstances. Pressure has to be there. We allow it to happen on several occasions. We cannot allow it to happen this time around.
This time around, I agreed 100% because, like I said, like Ms. Shanima was saying a few minutes ago, and you can't not going to even help us for the rest of our lives. And like I said, these people that are talking to me, they are not on NAU, and they're working for one is a big company, one is just an individual business. But yet they got work permit holders, and they're bringing them on and not bringing on the Caymanians, which is not fair. It is not fair because we got to survive too.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I want to give a shout out to Foster's. Just looking at how Foster's Food Fair retail is doing so much to protect us in their stores. The length they have gone to rearrange the shelves and making space and everything to protect us and their staff. It needs to be greatly appreciated. And the workers that they have outside the entrance, the officers and the CDC people, they're doing a tremendously good job, I must say.
Great.
I must say. Not here putting nobody no pedestal, but I'm going by what I observe when it's my time to go into town. But I just want to say that if we had another farm like Foster's Food Fair, IG in Cayman, and not IG no more, in Cayman, we would really survive because they really care. I'm not saying everyone doesn't care, but as soon as Foster make their money, they send it back to protect their people, protect us, and making sure that we have food to eat and so forth. So I just want to shout out to Foster this morning and all of those people that got on the sideline, helping them outside in the hot, brawling sun. And especially when you're a senior citizen and got a bad knee like myself, and when they see it coming, they're open arms to get you to the door immediately. And that's a big plus.
Excellent.
It's a very big plus.
That's
so
good.
Big
shout out.
I just want to say that we need to, I hope that some of the government is listening and asking people to bring in your Caymanian people you've been having there for so many years, and you can shuffle your staff and make sure Caymanians get into the door first, and then bring in your work permit people that you got work permit for.
Yep. We have an opportunity now where we can actually micromanage this whole work permit situation with the amount of work permit holders that have left the jurisdiction. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, my brother O.C.
Good morning. Good morning. Free at last. Free at last.
At last, yeah, but hold on. Free at last, one thing, but listen to this one. You can't win for losing. When we went to sleep last night, you were flat calm and been flat calm from the lockdown. Wake up this morning, you got no rest on both sides.
Wow.
Bad weather and my back is so bad I can't go out there fishing, old buddy. So anyway, God promises tomorrow going to be better.
That's
couple
good.
of days after the full moon, we're going to get it. Anyway, first things first. Cayman Brack joins all of us, every one of us here, in the passing of our beloved sister Esther.
Yes.
We mourn her. We grew up together. She's my little sister, and like Dr. Steve and Gervin and the other ones like that, Uncle Tony. It was so much fun growing up, and I know we've not really lost. Heaven has gained an angel, my dear friend, and she'll always be remembered. So to all the family to the Cayman Islands, Esther, my darling, I hope that Susan, if you're still here and there, I wrote a song some time ago called Fly My Angel. After the show, try play that for her for me, please. And the other thing is your guest that you had on, Dr. Mack and Terry.
Mr. Risa, yeah.
Yeah, speaking about Cayman Brac and what we got to do to move forward. Let me tell you something, First of all, we still have a little way to go here in the Brac. We have some more testing to do before we can say we're going to be open up. And I'm trying to encourage Brackers, look, go and get tested.
Test, yes.
Go and get the testing so we can reach the limit to where we can open up a little bit more. And we must remember, and I said this long time ago, whether it was a vision or premonition or what, that the Brac tourism is going to be based on local tourism.
Yes.
That means, and we ain't got no choice now, because we got to keep our borders locked down,
Definitely have to do that.
Yeah, we can't make this. There's a war going on worldwide, terror everywhere. We can't allow that fella to come back here at all. Not until we get to the point to where, it took World War II joined together. Nations joined together. It took 3 years to get rid of the Nazis. It may take us that long to get rid of Corona because this guy is a plague. It's even worse. It's not 2 or 3 nations or one nation fighting against. It is everybody fighting against an unseen enemy.
Yes.
So I advise everyone, and don't be afraid. The other way to make sure you don't get it, don't forget the shoes. Don't forget to keep everything you touch disinfected. Just, you know what I mean? We have to go about this right way so we can not only make sure we kill it, it doesn't exist. Disinfect.
Yes.
And finally, I'll jump off there because I know a lot of other ones. Again, what Dr. Steve and Dr. Roy and also Terry mentioned in what we have to do to on our way forward here. If you want to find treasure, my beloved friend, look in your own backyard. The only exports Cayman Brac has had recently was grinding up the and shipping it to Grand Cayman, making our babies, educating them and shipping them to Grand Cayman.
Okay.
But right now we can share the entire thing equally by looking, and we have to go back to agriculture, number one, so we can produce as much as we used to. We used to eat out of the sea on the bluff, and once a year we had a little cow meat, but we kept the cows for milk. I used to have to get up 4:30 in the morning, go and bluff milk cows with Captain Charlie.
Okay. We have to go to our commercial break. Personally, I want to thank you very much for that. I hope the weather cooperates over there with you, and stay safe and continue to encourage the people of the Brac to get out there and get tested as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Insurance is complicated. Make your life easier and better protected with comprehensive financial solutions from FIS Insurance Brokers with plans from life, health, property insurance, motor, public liability, and professional liability insurance. Whether you're protecting your family or your business, leave nothing to chance. Understand your options and protect yourself for the future. Speak to your FIS Insurance Broker agent today, located on Shedden Road by MoneyGram, or call 623-5616.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance
Parts Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000 Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Social distancing. Well, that means you're to keep a distance of 3 to 6 feet away from the person next to you. Or in layman's term, if you can see the color of the eye next to you, you're too close. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
This Mother's Day, more than ever, Celebrations wants to deliver a special thank you to the other unsung hero, Mom. Delight your mom with a gorgeous, fresh floral arrangement, a special gift, gourmet or fruit and flower combination, all uniquely designed for her. With every order this Mother's Day, Celebrations will be donating $5 to Feed Our Future and helping to support families. Celebrations will be doing island-wide, safe, non-contact delivery of flowers and gifts from this Thursday, May 7th until Sunday, May 10th. Call us on 623-2044 or place your order online at www.celebrationsgifts.com. Happy Mother's Day.
I love you. For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have an open line now for people to call in. I just want to remind everyone that there's always someone waiting behind you as well. So we want you to be as economic with the time that you have to speak as possible. Before we go to the phone lines, though, a few days ago, we were talking about tailors and seamstresses in the Cayman Islands, and one of our listeners wanted to remind us that remembering Caymanian seamstresses, Miss Adele Carter. And Miss Adele, I know the late Adele Carter, knew her quite well, worked at immigration. As a matter of fact, in those days, she made all of the uniforms for the immigration department as well. So Miss Adele Carter, Mrs. Harrison from the John Gray High School, as well at Dorsey in West Bay as well. So to mention a few more in terms of seamstresses in the Cayman Islands. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm grateful for another day, and I thank Dr. McFeel, Miss Teresa, and Dr. Borden. I thank them so much because they really hit the nail on the head, as the saying is, and it's a true saying. I also want to thank the lady, which I know is Miss Thompson, when she spoke about Foster's Food Fair.
Yes.
Yes, they are doing what they can, and I think they did more to protect their staff, to protect their customers, and like she said, I wish was more Fosters like them. I thank them very much, and they keep their stores well good in stock, and keeping people safe is the best thing. I want to also thank the government for what they're doing. But remember what Dr. McFeel say, Caymanians must come first now, not work permit holders. I am sorry. some of these big companies that employ them, especially the big hotel chains, they need to do something about hiring Caymanians, and not only hiring them, but training. That should be enforced into the law, that Caymanians must be trained, those that want to go into the tourism, which we depend on, and we don't have very much to depend on. So let us be grateful for what we have. And I don't agree. I don't agree with one of the people when they say that the beach is closed. That the beach is closed, because I think it is safer and better for all of us, better for our health, if we could just walk on the beach. And that was referring to the chief of police. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. And we if we could get a walk on the beach, we wouldn't have to breathe in all that exhaust from vehicles and jumping out of the way because they're driving too fast and that kind of thing. I know it's somebody else on, so I'll bid you a good weekend.
Thank you.
And good weekend to all the Radio Cayman staff.
And a happy Mother's Day to you.
Yes, and I thank you. Thank Miss Teresa. I personally thank Miss Teresa for helping us with many, many things. Thank her, and a happy Mother's Day to her.
Okay, thank you very much, caller, for that as well. Maybe they should consider opening up the beach, but only to a certain age group, for those older persons who feel that it is therapeutic to be able to go on the beach, to soak themselves in that nice, fresh, salt water as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Fresh salt water. Fresh in the sense that refreshing salt water as well. And maybe we should limit it to a certain age, since it appears as if the younger generation are not able, or some of them are not able to act responsibly. Then maybe we should look at an age limit to allow those older persons to be able to go to the beach. Also, one of the things that the government may want to consider, the exercise period. 90 minutes to exercise. Now, that's good for persons who walk and persons who jog. I'm going to display a certain amount of partiality here now, because I'm a cyclist. I'm an old cyclist. So half an hour, I live in Savannah, Hibiscus Gardens, and it takes me an hour and a half to ride from Hibiscus Gardens to the Rubis gas station opposite Countryside in Savannah. That's about a little bit over a mile. It takes me an hour and a half just to ride from there. So we need, as cyclists, we need a little bit more time than an hour and a half. So maybe the government may want to consider extending this time to exercise for maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, even for us older folks to give us to get a little bit more distance in. Just a thought. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am very well, O.C., and thank you very much for taking this call, because I've been holding on a long time. I'm trying to be very fast, and because I'm rushing to go, I have a time slot to view Miss Asta.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say happy birthday and happy Mother's Day to my only surviving aunt, Miriam Anglin. She has 11 living children, and she's raised a granddaughter, so she has 12 children. But she's like the only source that we have. Because, now my mom been laying down for a long time with Alzheimer's and dementia, that we can go to get motherly advice and all that. So to Aunt Miriam, because they got locked down on Mother's Day, and it's nothing like being able to hug and touch and see somebody. And to her, I know she's listening, because she listens on the radio in the morning. And she had called me here and told me you was on, but then she never said nothing. But I had this in my mind long before that. And I want to wish her my beloved mother who can't hear it, but she's still there, lying down, and all of the mothers, my sisters, and my best friends, and my dear friends, and my existing clients, every mother in Cayman, because I have a lot of friends.
Oh, yes.
I have a lot of friends. So I want to wish everyone, by the sound of my voice, a happy, happy Mother's Day on Sunday. I have two observations, and I'm going to ask you, because you was an ex-immigration, so I know you know things.
Mm-hmm.
And so after these greetings, as I said, I want to ask you, what do you think about people that had permits and high-end jobs that might have left, because some might have left just saying they'll come back, but getting employment via, sourcing work from, like how you work at home and you work overseas, because Cayman has been using a lot. I've been calling numbers for locally and said, oh, well, I'm answering it in India and stuff like that. And then they mightn't make as much money, or they might make more because they need them to go on their vacations and maybe come back here and all that. But what do you think about that happening after the new, because I could call it the new Cayman happening?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's a question for you then to answer after.
Okay.
And then the other point was, in this case of all of the people that are still here, I know there's one particular country that's not opened up their borders yet, and I heard through the grapevine that a lot won't go. Now, I don't know if that going is people that are elderly, that should not be working still, and need to go back home to be with their families. Because, if we keep all the older people that don't have Cayman status, we got a responsibility that can happen to us. And so people that are here want to go and can't go. And then they had extended a curfew, but I've heard nothing about, or an amnesty rather is the word it is. Yeah, heard nothing about if anybody had exercised it.
Yes,
So-
I think on the press briefing they did indicate how many people had left. I believe so. I'll try to look back at those.
They left, but they never said they left out from them.
Mhm.
From the
Yeah.
amnesty thing. So
But bear in mind, those who are in the shadows and are here illegally, there is no incentive really for them to leave if they have been able to survive in the shadows all of this period of time. Yeah.
Because we're taking care of people that most likely, because our premier has really been generous, kind and good, or the government rather, because he can only bring the message. It's got to be a decision, and so there's a lot of people that have said, "Well, me, I get. You never heard about that. I get food from this. I get stamps from this." I said, "Well, I wish somebody would have given me a stamp or remembered me." But in my opinion, that is where we are at, and I hope and trust that we can get together, a collective head of older folks or middle-aged like us, come up with a decision, open a little small business, or even be just an advisor to some of the young people that are astray. Now, the last question is, all of the police that is on duty, and I know you know government, you know the law, and you know how these people are, they're not doing this for charging. Can that be known, the overtime and how much that salary is costing us? Because now it's not only police that are doing it, it's the border patrol, border people too. So I'm sure that's an overtime ticket. That now voluntary, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll try to find that out. I won't comment on it until we're able to find out. Caller, I know you have to go. I want to thank you very much and have a happy Mother's Day as well, and to all of those in your family who are mothers. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
FIS MoneyGram is pleased to announce their Shed Road location will be reopening for money transfer services effective Monday, May the 4th. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, MoneyGram and Shedden Road will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, servicing customers with A through K surnames on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and customers with L through Z surnames on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To ensure social distancing requirements, customers are required to make an appointment on their days by WhatsApp or texting 928-5130. That's 928-5130. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman, with hand sanitizer from $3.25, 10 surgical masks for $9.99, and 2 packs of KN95 masks for $6.99. Wholesale pricing available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations: Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the incredible lockdown price markdown and manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Hundreds of fine starting from cases of ice cold below wholesale prices, and save $9 off liters. Prices so low we can't say it on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks and social distancing while in store, and encourage other preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
It's time to stay steady in the summer and be ready for the fall. Summer 2020 classes begin on May 11th, and there has never been a more opportune time for you to invest in your future with online classes at UCCI. Do your part to keep our island safe and stay home Cayman while furthering your educational goals. Continue our Start Your Success story today by visiting ucci.edu.ky/myucci to find out more about the enrollment process. Call 623-8224 or email info@ucci.edu.ky to learn more.
Are you a Caymanian experiencing unemployment or have recently been laid off? Are you already registered with work but need to know what jobs are available or how to post job ads? Contact Work today. Call 945-9672 or toll free at 1-800-534-9672 or email worc@gov.ky.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Essential staff, police officers, immigration, customs, doctors, nurses, first responders, they are essential staff. So if you got to ask, then you ain't. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information: the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Early this morning, I woke from my sleep.
Radio Cayman, waking you up with Praise Time.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him,
praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. We were on the last leg of the show. We have 4 calls lined up and we have about less than 8 minutes to go. Need I say any more? Let's take the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
This
Mr. O.C., good morning to you, sir.
Morning.
I know you're talking to me.
No.
I like what you're saying about your exercising time and that. I agree with you. It's not everybody takes a short exercise time. And, it's law and common sense. When it conflicts, the law should yield. So there should be a longer time, especially for some people who jog long distances and that. I don't. Hour and a half is fine for me. But I understand and I see, there's a need for it for people to get out there for longer walks. Now, Mr. O.C., for all what the recovery and the restarting and all that, and talking about immigration and looking out for Caymanians, none of that is going to be reset until we have a living wage in this country for our people. Don't tell me you're going to give people an opportunity, you're going to hold back on work permits because you're giving them $4.50 an hour, some of them even US, $4.50 US, or $6 an hour. That does the salary scale down for everybody. They come here and they make billions of dollars of profits off the backs of the Cayman Islands that we have here that Caymanians established. And when the first hotels were Caymanians, the restaurants were Caymanian and all that. And what people earn today is less spending power than what they earned back in the 50s and 60s. And for government and for all these politicians, for all the pontificating about what they're doing for the people, until they start, and I hear each and every one in there fighting for the minimum wage going no less than $10 an hour, then they're not for Caymanians. Not one of them that don't fight for a minimum wage of $10. And people, if you don't hear them fighting for a minimum wage of at least 10, don't elect them.
Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
And how are you?
Fine,
First
thanks.
First of all, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, because without them, none of us will be here, including me and you.
Mm-hmm.
O.C., I know some of them can come on, so I shouldn't say that, but listen, and only carries the spec, we carry the 9-month sickness and all that luggage, okay?
Okay.
So we should be well and rated. And first of all, I would like to say to all the sympathies, Honest and Ines was the first people here that had a professional dressmaking place. That's where I learned about a surgeon. One of them was Mark Scotland, mother. You had Honest Duffy. You had my grandmother, Margaret Hyde. But the most important person that could do anything, and that was my Uncle Shelby wife, Jean Hyde. That is Tristan Hyde and their mother.
Okay.
That could show. So, and I want to say, Happy Mother's Day to Miss Olive Miller, who taught us to sew in Girls' Brigade.
Excellent.
And I would like to tell you that our Alden Olympics team is getting very small. I sit on the porch and I got the material, so I start making now their mask, but I'm not quite finished. I got a lot to go on. We've been watching them, and you have bicycle people who go into the Olympics with them, and you have a lot of walkers. But the crowd has started to die down. And they cross and they'll say hi to me, and I'll say, well, what happened to the other guy? Oh, he went to Mexico. It is not as much walking now. And what I see walking now is more or less like it's a few locals in it. And you have, you got lots of local, and then you'll find a few now foreign people there. They're not as much as what it was before. They leave it. And I spoke to one yesterday, and he said the reason why he wants to go home, because if the job is bad, he at least home he can survive. He can't survive here.
Yep. Very quickly, we still got one more person, and I have 2 minutes left.
So I want you to have a good day.
Thank you very much. Stay safe, and Happy Mother's Day to you as well. Last caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Orrett. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. I hope you and your family's doing well. Quick statement. This certain insurance company, and I'm calling to talk about quickly. 1 minute, when you apply for your pension, they're stating that they wanted it notarized. Fine, it's notarized. They reject it and said, oh, we don't want it in black and white. We want it in colored. Then after that's done, then another rejections come back. Oh, we don't take third parties' email. There's a lot of unfortunate people on this island that does not have internet, does not have computers. They really need to get on the show and discuss the issues that they have, that people can send their forms in directly to them and state exactly what they needed. This is not the first time that this has been done from this certain insurance company.
Okay. Now, I noticed that you put out something in terms of Notary Republic and notaries being done for free, and that was commendable as well, because notaries, unlike Justice of the Peace notaries, can charge for their services.
Exactly. So all our notaries is being done free by Miss Sandra Ray Smith Solomon. And what I do, I assist her, make sure the dates are right, that she doesn't make a mistake like 2020, 21, and then it's correct, and then it's sealed. And they're coming back now and saying, oh, we want it sealed, even though it's sealed and it's in black and white, black and colored. Will they make up their mind? And they're rejecting a lot of people for really stuff that is not called for. I mean, and people now is calling back and wondering and asking questions: are these insurance legit? Do they have money left in there?
Because it seems as if they're stalling.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're sending back an email stating, "Oh, I'm sorry, we had a lot of losses last year. We would appreciate if you don't pull your money." I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with people.
Yeah, they shouldn't be trying to influence people not to withdraw their money at that point in time. The Premier has said so. If you don't need it, don't withdraw it. But I my opinion on that, it is improper for them to try to influence you now from withdrawing your money.
And they're putting a lot of stress on the older people that needs their money up in 50s and 60s that they apply for theirs, and they're really putting a lot of stress on them. And I mean, that can send anyone mentally, right? I had a lady that she's going crazy. I mean, she's 58, and she wants her money. They're going to send her, "Oh, I advise you at this time, please don't pull your money because we've lost a lot of funds last year." That's not her business.
Unless they have other viable alternatives for them to put money in people's pocket, they shouldn't be doing that. Caller,
exactly.
I want to thank you very much for that. I'm going to just add to that as well. I was a little bit dismayed to hear on the press briefing that they were refusing applications if it wasn't in color or if something was wrong. Now, similarly, we saw when the passports, Cayman Islands passports, British passports were being issued from the United Kingdom, that many applicants had that problem where things were being sent back to them and then they had to send them back. They learned their lessons there and they set up a line of communications either by email or what. So if something went wrong or was incorrect, they would contact you and say you need to correct this, because if they end up refusing your application and you have to submit a new application again, that's setting you way back. Whatever happened to the whole idea, the long held idea that you can actually defer an application? If you send an application in to me that is short of something, I can defer a decision on that, give you an opportunity to correct it, give you an opportunity to provide the additional information, and then make a determination. My point, we need to have a watchdog over these pension schemes to ensure that it is done correctly. Yes, the director of pensions you can appeal to them, but before we get to that point where there has to be an appeal process, maybe more guidelines need to be issued in terms of them. We appreciate Ms. Amy Walston the other day on the press briefing clarifying certain things. I believe that they have a media strategy plan in place where they will be getting out there and informing the public. We need that to happen, but we need to create a watchdog over these pensions groups. Otherwise, we're going to have a messy situation on our hands if that isn't done. Before we leave, and I'm way over time, but again, I want to read to you the situation as it relates to the late Miss Esther E-Banks laying in state and final drive-through. And it reads, former MLA Mrs. Leola Esterline E-Banks, known affectionately as Mrs. Esther, who passed away on April the 23rd, will be lying in state today at the Legislative Assembly. That is today, the 8th of May, from noon until 1 p.m. Members of the public will not be able to attend the lying in state in person due to the shelter-in-place provisions, but will be able to follow proceedings live on CIG TV and YouTube. The hearse carrying Mrs. Ebanks' body will leave the Legislative Assembly at 1 p.m. for a farewell drive through West Bay to mark her time served as a representative of West Bay. Persons are encouraged to stand in their doorways or yards to wave, but should be mindful of maintaining social distancing protocols. Once leaving the Legislative Assembly building, there will be a final farewell drive through Northwest Point, around Bosun Bay, Goat Yard, through Hell Road, along to Town Hall, then Stadium Drive, up Birch Tree Hill Road, up to Spanish Bay Road, through Captain Reginald Parsons Drive, Mount Pleasant Road, to Willifarrington Road, back to West Bay for the return to Georgetown. And then, of course, the funeral service will then be held on May the 9th, that is tomorrow, for immediate family only at 1 p.m. at the Church of God Chapel, Georgetown on Academy Way, with interment to follow at the Garden of Eden Cemetery on Pedro Castle Road. The service will be aired live on CIG TV, YouTube only. The full farewell proceedings will be available on CIG TV from next week as well. Folks, I want to thank you all very much. I want to say to you, stay safe. They say absent makes the heart grow fonder. In the case of COVID-19, absence makes the heart beat longer. Please stay safe. We ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Today's biggest news.
Radio